Hey there. Midlife crisis. Sounds pretty terrible. I think it's actually a bad name for what it is. I think it should be called a midlife transition. Um, I think it can become a crisis if you don't know how to navigate it, or if you resist it, or if you are not open to change or transformation in your life. I think, like anything in life, if you hold on to something too hard and you don't allow transition to happen in your life, then that's when things become a crisis. And I think this is possibly what happens for a lot of people. I guess the second thing I wanted to say is that it's probably quite natural. I think most people go through it at some point, or some sort of transition in their life. I think that there's various reasons for it to happen, and it can be an upheaval, or it can be very mild. It can be gentle, I guess, depending on who you are and what kind of personality you have. I suspect it happens more for people who have like an avoidant personality, who avoids conflict or avoid situations. I think essentially if you're avoiding your reality, if you have done, then I suspect that probably makes it more of a shift for you. I think kind of what is happening is your subconscious is telling you that you need to change. Now, that can be for various reasons, I guess. But before we talk about that, let's talk about how you might feel. So you might be feeling this if you're going through this, or if things are changing for you for some reason you don't know why. Maybe this is what's happening. You may start questioning your life, where you are in life, what you're doing for a career. You may be questioning your relationship with your wife or husband or your family. You may find that you don't know what purpose is anymore, or you don't have a purpose, or that you've lost the interest in what you thought was your purpose previously. Kind of asking, what am I doing? Why am I here? I guess fundamentally, questions like, why am I here? It could be that you feel the plan you've had for your life, you're questioning that, or noticing that it's not working out how you thought, which I think is a common one. I think, through your 20s, you go through sort of learning how to do something. In your 30s, sort of applying that knowledge, and you kind of get to your 40s, and it's like, okay, what's next? This is not working out the way I thought it was going to be working out. And then, I guess what happens is that realization can kind of cause, probably one or two things. I guess like panic, a little sort of like scary moments where you're not sure what's going on anymore, or the other way I guess it can go is more into sort of depression, or not acknowledging, not accepting that this is happening. Maybe you sort of go very inward and decide, well, you just retreat from the world because it doesn't make sense to you anymore. And I think all this is, I think it's natural, and it's certainly for men, it's not really talked about very much. It's kind of one of those taboo topics that everybody knows about. It's like, there's like comedy movies and books and plays about this sort of thing, but when you're actually going through it, it seems there isn't much out there. There isn't much support for you, unless you have to go find a therapist or a coach, I guess. Um, so, what might trigger this? I think for some people it's a crisis, and a crisis could be somebody close to you dying, you losing money, your business, falling into debt, your partner leaving you or threatening to leave you, or your partner having an affair. And I guess that could be because they're going through the same thing. Carl Jung said that it's just part of maturing, and it's just part of growing up. And maybe you get to a certain age, and this is kind of what I was saying before, that you realise that things are not how you thought they were going to be, and you start really trying to reassess your life. I've heard someone else talk about this, and they describe it as you get to a point in your life and you sort of look back at what you've achieved and what you've done, and you kind of say, well, is this it? Is this as good as it gets? And this could be anybody. I mean, you could be semi-retired with $1 million in the bank, and you have time. You go sailing during the summer, and you can go skiing during the winter. But that's not fulfilling for you. That's not giving you the sense of fulfillment and deep purpose that you're missing. And you ask yourself, is this as good as it gets? Is this it? I've got 20, 30, 40 years left. What else is there? Well, I don't see how am I going to spend the rest of my life? And I think, if you're feeling that, then this could well be an indication that you're going through some sort of transition in your life. I was also talking to somebody, and they mentioned that actually kind of part of this is, it's this theory of your left brain and your right brain. And your left brain is more mathematical and scientific and analytical, and your right brain is more arty and creative. And generally people are left brain or right brain dominant through their life. But going through like a transition like this, the other brain becomes more expressive. So if you've been more scientific and more sort of mathematical and analytical, you may find that suddenly you're more interested in things like art and music and things which you didn't really have an interest in before. Or the other way around, if you've been more arty and more into sort of creativity, you may suddenly find that this sort of more scientific, mathematical side of yourself is starting to be expressed or wants to be expressed, which can be really confusing for some people. And yeah, so if you're finding that this is happening, this is all about transition, and transition is all about going from where you are now, which could be a state where you are unhappy with things, you're suffering in some respect, and you want to transition to a better place, a place where you are fulfilled and you have happiness, you have a purpose, you feel joy from within you. If you feel some of this, if you're noticing this, you can reach out to me. I'll put my link on the comments, or reach out to somebody, because if you are going through like a transition like this, don't ignore it. Don't do it on your own. Well, you can, but if you're aware of what's going on. But reach out. There's help out there. It should be one of those stages that should be celebrated in life. It should be a celebration of transition and change. It should be sort of, a new you coming forward. So make it that. Make it a celebration. Make it a happy time. And if you want to talk more about it, by all means reach out, and we can chat and see if I'm able to help you. All right, until next time, I'm out. I'll catch you later. Bye.